Thank you, Jerry Seinfeld. Ladies and gentlemen, business people and customers alike, welcome to Prosper in Northumberland, creating customers for life. My name is Andrew Hall. I'm the Marketing, Event and Business Coordinator for the Cobourg Downtown Business Improvement Area. I've had longer job titles, but never so broad a gamut of responsibilities. One of the most enjoyable aspects of my job has been my involvement with the Prosper in Northumberland Committee, a group of private and public sector individuals who represent the local media and local business organizations. The group came together early in 2012 to try and accomplish something simple yet monumental, to change the mindset of the local business community by demonstrating that the very real possibility of prosperity exists. This group was the brainchild of Dave Hughes from Pine Ridge Broadcasting, and I'd like to say thank you, Dave, for bringing us all together. The Prosper in Northumberland Committee, with the generous support of Cameco, are very pleased to bring you this second installment in what is sure to be an ongoing series of presentations. There are several groups to thank, but I do want to take a moment to thank the members of the Northumberland County Council for their ongoing support. Thank you to Warden Gil Brockinier and Mayors Mark Coombs, Linda Thompson, Dalton McDonald, Mark Wallace, Mark Lovshin, and Hector McMillan. On the agenda for tonight are two major components. The first will be a panel discussion featuring several business owners from across Northumberland County, moderated by local radio personality York Bell Smith. Following a 30-minute break, please return to your seats for the second half of tonight's show, a presentation from keynote speaker Donald Cooper. Now please note the two-page handout that's been delivered, you received. The first page is to keep for reference. The second page is your opportunity to provide feedback and subscribe to Donald's e-newsletter. Please take a moment to fill out this sheet following Donald's presentation and return it to either him or any one of the many volunteers here tonight. After the presentations, everyone's welcome to join the committee members, panelists, and Donald Cooper outside in the lobby of the theater for a catered social gathering. If we manage to stay on schedule, things should begin there shortly after 9:30. Before we get started, please note that tonight's presentation is being recorded by TV Cogeco, and cameras or recording devices of any kind are not permitted. Also, I ask you now to please turn your cellular phones and so-called smart devices off or to silent mode. We begin tonight with a series of videos featuring this evening's panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce Mr. York Bell Smith.
Hello, Chair. So you think you know customer service, eh? Yep. You could hold my water. Sorry, I saw the empty chair up here and I had to do something with it. Thank you very much, Clint Eastwood, for providing fodder for many people to get in front of a microphone for many years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to waste any time. Please welcome our panelists for tonight's discussion. Gina Boyd from G. Boyd Boutique in Brighton. Marion Cunningham from Rosewood Estates in Cobourg. Also from Rosewood Estates, please welcome John Goyen. Blake Holden from Holden Flowers in Port Hope. Julia Mark from Gould's Footwear here in Port Hope as well. Don Owen from the Oasis Restaurant in Cobourg. Barry Roberts from Alliance Security in Hamilton Township. And Brad O'Neill from Home Hardware, Cobourg, Port Hope, and Newcastle. Please welcome our panelists. You'll notice on your posters that Lynn Hardy was also on the list of panelists, but unfortunately, due to a scheduling conflict, she is unable to make it. So we have this great list here of folks that have been successful in business in Northumberland County. What's going to happen is I'm going to ask them a series of 4 questions. Each will have an opportunity to answer their questions. These questions as to how they are successful and how it has pertained to them and their business. And hopefully, you'll be able to take it back to your businesses as well. We're going to start with Gina. Gina, our first question, which all panelists will answer, is we know that businesses today are facing some serious challenges and have been for a few years. What are some things that you are doing differently in your business to excel at customer service?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's really nice to see so many people here. First of all, I think getting back, if we're fighting the online shopping and the big box, being a small town business people, social media helps. Social media, Facebook, internet is a really good one. The second one is I really believe as a business owner in a small community, you need to get involved in your community, you need to give back. in any kind of a volunteer or a committee, organization, DBIA, chamber, or just organizing, pulling weeds in downtown, which I've done. And obviously as a small shop, one-on-one, honest, tactful, respectful, good customer service with your people, and make sure your staff understand the importance of that.
Do you have a secret for instilling that importance into your staff?
Yes, I handpick them, and it's hard. And stay with them for quite a bit of time prior to, so they understand or walk the walk. They see me do it, and hopefully they get the enthusiasm and the want to please that customer. That's the bottom line. That customer has to leave bright and happy. Maybe they didn't find what they were looking for at my store, but I'll make sure that customer finds it. I'll refer them to a store that may have it in downtown Brighton. And I'm in Port Hope. I better be careful.
Thank you, Gina. John or Mary, same question. What are you doing differently to excel at customer service?
I think the priority that we focus on is making people our priority. So we work really hard at trying to build relationships with the people that are going to be our future residents. And once they become our residents, we make sure that we stay with it, and day to day we're dealing with them all the time. So we genuinely care. The people that come in and work in our building, our employees, if they don't care, they don't stay. It becomes very obvious. So we care about the people, and they are our product, is the people. So I think that would be it.
And also, anybody coming into our building, we do an all-inclusive pricing, so they know from the very beginning that that is all they're going to pay, and there are no extras on top of that. Some places do have extras. And I think also one of the most important things is never promising to do something that you can't deliver. We pride ourselves in basically, if we say we can, then we will do so.
Thank you very much, Marion and John. Blake.
Well, we've been selling flowers on Main Street of Port Hope for about 30 years now, so things have really changed. Back in the day, when a customer called and ordered flowers, we had a pad of paper and a pencil, and we took the order down. They gave us their visa number and the expiry date, and we wrote that down, plugged it in, and sent out the flowers. But, rules have changed, laws have changed, technology has changed, and we discovered early on that keeping up with technology was a great way to help improve our customer service. It's very expensive, it can be very time-consuming, learning how to use all the different programs we learn. But it really pays off. Our staff, they're like our family. They're passionate about the product that we sell. And, my wife, myself, the people that work for us, they all know what you're supposed to get out of the process of sending flowers to a loved one or your next door neighbor. And when we don't deliver, we're just human. And on occasion, we will drop the ball. When that does happen, we all take it very seriously. It's a personal insult, and we really work our hardest to change that around and make it a positive experience. So,
Blake, thank you very much. We'll move over to our other panelist table. Julia, what are you doing differently to excel at customer service?
Thank you, York. Good evening, everyone. I said that when I was going to sit up here, I wouldn't see anybody, but I'm very aware that you're there. So thank you for joining us tonight. First of all, I feel as though I have to reveal something. I really can't take a lot of credit for surviving 25 years in the footwear business. A lot of things have happened and changed in the business, and I've stuck it out. I've loved every minute of it. Time has flown by. A quarter century has passed, and I'm hoping to add on to that 100 that the Goulds did. So I have to say, I would like to confess something, that I do thank God every single day, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for everything that He has provided for me. I'm very thankful to be blessed with loyal clientele, and just allowing me to have the privilege of operating a business in Port Hope, a town where I grew up, and which I love. So it's just, I'm very, very thankful for that. But so it's not necessarily what I do differently, so much as what I attempt to do consistently. And consistently is the key word here, because so much of loyalty in business and return clientele is so important on just maintaining the quality of service that you want for your clients. So basically, a good simple rule of thumb guide that I use, and it happens to be biblical, if anybody's familiar with the Bible, Matthew 7:12. Ask yourself what you want people to do for you. Then take the initiative and do it for them. And that's really what I stand by. When I'm out and about, and I do try to shop locally, and actually, town has great things. Port Hope, Coburg, Northumberland area is beautiful to shop in, and I expect the same service that I provide. And so I use that sort of as a testament to gauge when I'm failed somewhat in someone else's business. I make sure that I don't do that to a client who walks through my door. So everybody who comes through the door, no matter what age, is extremely important.
Thank you, Julia. Don, embracing technology yourself there, what are you doing different to excel at customer service?
First of all, I just want to say that when I was asked to do this, I was and heard the title of the program, Creating Customers for Life. I thought, that's a lot of pressure. Most of us can't keep a wife for life. Let alone a customer. Anyway, in the restaurant, we've been in the restaurant business. We celebrated our 20th year, October 6th this year, so on the main street of Coburg. I think the key to great customer service in our industry is in recruitment, training, empowerment, and retention of staff. The employment pool in Northumberland County is very small for experienced staff, and the amount of places all competing for that same pool is very large. It's hard to believe, but I was at a work fair up at St. Mary's School in Coburg a couple of years ago, and the fire inspector said they inspect 85 eating establishments in Coburg each year. And that's hard to believe, but when you think of all the little donut shops and sandwich shops, it's a lot of people. We try to impress on our staff how important each player's role is to the team and to the success of our restaurant, and therefore to our customer satisfaction. Training is the key, as well as paying fair wages, respecting them and encouraging them to excel in their positions, and urging them to continue growing in the industry. We also believe in promoting from within, identifying the stars and allowing them to try different jobs. The cost of training is really expensive, so retention is very important. As well, our guests get to know our staff. We've had some long-time staff, and that creates loyalty with your customers. You need to involve customers in your story. You need to let them know who you are, what you're about, and have personal contact with them. Although restaurants are mainly thought of as food places, we at the Oasis, we feel we've created a brand that offers a broad, affordable menu, friendly service, fabulous live music, and a fun, casual, and comfortable environment.
Thank you, Don. Barry.
Okay, well, thank you, York. I must say, I think that I'm amongst some real solid fixtures in the community here. I feel quite honored, actually, to be sitting amongst them. I think there's been some great answers. For us, I think that I'm probably the only panelist in which we actually go to our clients' places of business or their residences. Being in the service industry, all three of our businesses actually involve this traveling and meeting people on their turf as opposed to ours. So what we really strive to do is just go over the top in giving a personalized service to our clients. We don't use an answering machine. We never have in 33 years. We always have a live person to answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I've got lots of stories about some pretty inconvenient times when we get calls, such as a Christmas morning when a traffic signal doesn't work and things like this. But nonetheless, that's what we do. We always give a same-day response to a client's inquiry, and oftentimes it's within the same hour. And if it's an emergency, then we just deal with it immediately. We had 2 such things even today. Just actually before I came out tonight, we had a call from a local restaurant that had a fan on the roof, exhaust fan, that wasn't working. And we were able to get somebody there within about 15 minutes, and 15 minutes later it was working. So that worked out well. And then this morning we had a call from a local, actually it was in Coburg, it was a housing complex, and they had no power. And I don't know how many people live in the building, but anyway, their transformer was burned out. But 3 hours later, we had them up and running again. So that's the kind of thing that we have to do, and that meant dropping everything that we already had lined up for the day and just rescheduling. But that's what you do if you're going to give the kind of service that people need. There's no point in saying, we'll be by tomorrow, because they'll call somebody else, and we just won't get the work. Our field staff all have cell phones so that we can get the message to them in an emergency or at least without delay, and they can react accordingly. Even our sales staff have cell phones. And probably more than anything, we really stress to our staff that it's our clients that are the ones that pay our salaries. And we need to treat our clients with the respect that they deserve. People often say, you own your own business, you don't have a boss. Oh yeah, we have hundreds of bosses. And I think probably a lot of people here, even in the audience, know what I mean by that.
Thank you very much, Barry. Brad, what are you doing different to excel at customer service?
Well, good evening. I think I'm the only guy here that doesn't have a typed written speech. I've been chicken scratching since I got here. Bear with me. Well, personalized service, I can speak to that. We do. You want to talk personalized service and challenging. We design kitchens, and when you get into a female's kitchen, it can be attention to detail. We don't, partially because I don't have a whole typewritten speech. I'm just going to say there's not a lot. There's not one thing we do. It's how we do it, and I think. Julie has touched on it. Consistency is most important, but no situation is ever the same. So it's how you approach the situation, and it's not always going to be me. It's just not possible. So I can't stress enough that we empower our staff. We allow them to make decisions, and if they fail and they don't act the way we would like them to act, then we go one-on-one with them and say, in future. It's okay to take that item back. It's okay to, it's not all about money. It's about loyalty. It's about the long run. We're going to be around a long time, and sometimes they're afraid to make decisions if you don't empower them. So you need to empower your staff. You've got to let them know that you stand behind them, and the only way that they're going to get that is to consistently communicate and to constantly train and retrain and invest not just time in them, but be compassionate and let them know that you care about them. And caring about somebody, everybody knows how to care about somebody. You can say I love you to your wife, but if you're not meaningful, that resonates. People get it. So if you treat your staff and they honestly feel that you really, really care about them, they know you care about your customers. But if you don't care about them, they're not going to care about your customers.
Thank you very much. We'll go back to Gina for our second question. It's easy to talk about good customer service, but how do you actually measure your customer service success and successes?
They'll tell you. And by the way, Brad, I don't have a cheat sheet. It's on my hand, but that's my car. No, your customers will tell you. Just going back to what Brad said about empowering and how important it is to get your staff, they have to feel the enthusiasm as well, and that is really, really key. I live in my store, so I kind of can monitor it, but if you don't, you need to really know what's happening in that store, and empowering them, make them feel like it's their store, their business. However you want to do that with perks is very important. Basically, getting back to the question, how do I measure it? Customer service, my customers tell me. Referrals, repeat business. Yes, I check my social media, my Facebook, how many hits I got today or whatever, but your customers basically listen to them. If you're honest and one-on-one with them, they'll tell you what they like or don't like about what you're doing, and then you see them come in, someone you don't know come in and they go, well, I was referred by so-and-so because you have such great whatever you're selling.
Mary and John, how do you at Rosewood measure your customer service success?
Very similar response, I would say, is in resident referrals. They constantly refer their friends in and their family in. We also take testimonials from our residents at least once a year, occasionally a little bit more than that. And then the most obvious one is our occupancy level. And we have waiting lists for two-bedroom apartments as an example. So that's a really key thing for us. And then one thing that we do all the time as well is after someone's had a tour, we call back. We call them fairly regularly. If any of you've been there, you've heard from us, I'm sure. But we'll call back and we'll ask them, do they have any more questions? Is there something? And we'll listen to them. You know, we've had people say, I couldn't stand your meetings. And we're like, when did you come? And then we go look at the menu. Like, what was it? But that's very rare that we would hear something like that. And, you know, we look into it. Why did they feel that?
I think also just what you hear about yourself. Even a couple of panelists tonight came and said to us, we've heard such wonderful things. We've been to your building, we've seen how you... And it's just going out in the community, people coming up and say, oh, you're from Rosewood, you know, we've been there, it's such a wonderful place. So I think it's, you know, by word of mouth is a lot as well, because, you know, it's just hearing nice things about what you're doing in the community.
Excellent. Blake?
Well, I was one of those panelists that came to you tonight and said you're doing a great job. Back in the day, when I thought that there would come a day that I could actually retire. Being in retail, it just gets further and further away. You know, I used to imagine myself going down to Key West and living in a tent on the beach, but I've become a realist now. And when I do retire, I want a place at your place, Rosewood Estates. It's beautiful. You know, my wife and I, our name goes on every package that goes out the door. And inside that package is always a little enjoyment guarantee. And it tells our customers that if they're not completely satisfied in every way, we want them to let us know so that we can fix any problem that may have occurred. We have surveys in our store. They ask our customers such questions as, you know, what are we not carrying that you would like us to? I think that in a marriage, communication is probably one of the most important aspects to make it successful. And in the retail relationship that the owner has with their customer, communication is also one of the most important things that you can cultivate. So whether it's asking your customers to respond to you on Facebook, or whether it's talking to them on the phone and asking how the last order went, just encouraging your customer to let you know how you're doing is a wonderful way to prosper. And so I encourage all of you to do the same thing.
Thank you, Blake, and congratulations for being the first person to use the word prosper tonight. Julia, how do you measure your commercial or your customer service success?
Well, it didn't really hit me until one of my clients came in, and she was an old high school chum, and she told me she was a grandmother. And I don't consider myself to be old, but wow. I got to see probably not just her children grow up, but multiple customers who were pregnant and had babies and watched them grow up. And honestly, like, I really don't feel very old, and it didn't make me feel old, but the wonderful aspect of it was relationships built with my clients, and just the appreciation that I have that they are loyal to me is a good gauge. And I don't think about that so much in the sense of accomplishment or success, but the warming aspect of it is the relationship that you build with your clients, and just being able to see the generations graduate from elementary to high school to college and then start having children is fantastic, because that's how they make me feel. My clients make me feel, is they're including me in part of their family and I them, and so it's a wonderful, beautiful thing to be able to establish that relationship. I guess I can attribute it to much like a gigantic shoe closet. When you come through my door, I'm there to show you everything. And you can just try on to your heart's content.
Thank you, Julia. Don.
What was the question again? Just kidding. The best measure of customer satisfaction is, of course, in return visits and personal contact with customers. Personal contact comes from being there, and we all know that it's impossible to be there 24/7, especially when you're a restaurant. You are open 7 days a week, so it's very key that you have key people that are meeting and greeting and filling your role when you're not there. In the restaurant business, we welcome compliments, and we get a fair amount of them, but we also appreciate it when a customer is having a problem and we have the opportunity to correct it at that particular moment. It's very important that when there is an issue that you have to deal with it immediately and recognize that at that particular moment the customer is very upset, and for them the train has come off the track, and in most cases all they really want to know is that you're going to apologize to them and that you're going to fix the issue. We 100% guarantee our product and our service, and we live by a motto that's yes is the answer, what is the question? And we've always done that for 20 years, and it's the only way that you can, I think, keep customers coming in, because you're never going to be 100%, but you try to be as good as you can be and correct the problem as quickly as possible.
Barry, how do you measure your customer service success?
Well, like Don, we measure it really by the amount of repeat business that we get. We know that there are a lot of other competing contractors out there, and we made a decision a number of years ago that we weren't going to try to compete, for the most part, on a dollar-for-dollar kind of basis, but rather that we were going to concentrate on providing customer service, particularly focusing on emergencies, and we do other work as well, but just stressing on the customer service as opposed to trying to scrimp the last little dollar out of everything. So we know that we're doing a good job by the number of referrals that we get and the amount of repeat business that we receive. If it's a new client, we always ask about how they heard of us. Was it a radio ad? Was it in print? Was it in the phone book? If so, which phone book? Did somebody else that they know, maybe a relative, or did they refer us? Did they see, if it's Alliance, did they see one of our yellow and black stickers on a window or a storefront or something like that? But it is very difficult, we've found, to track such things. The longer that you're in business, the more that people just know of you because of life and the sheer number of hours that you've been in business in the marketplace. And so we do actually struggle with that, always trying to find out where a new customer comes to us from. But nonetheless, we still try. When we get compliments about our staff from the clients, we always share it with our staff. I like to get out of the office whenever I can, and in an example came to me this afternoon when I was thinking about this. The other day I did a small service call in Port Hope. It was an electrical call, and it was a first-time client. And when he saw my name on the photo badge that we all wear, he was so impressed that I myself would be coming out to his house the same day he called to replace his pull chain light fixture. And it's kind of funny because when you're in business, people think, oh, well, it's some big glorious thing, but it usually isn't. And anyways, it turned out that he had a security system in his home, and so we got chatting about that, and we found out that he was being monitored by one of the large multinational companies, and so you can kind of guess at the rest. So he was impressed by the customer service that we gave him, and as a result, it led to something else. So that was kind of my example of that. And but we do track the number of clients that we do have as well numerically. The Alliance Security System side, we track that because that's a measure of how well we're doing as far as our monitored customer base goes.
Thank you very much, Barry. And Brett.
So how do you measure customer service? Well, we've got a very advanced software system. We measure. We can measure our customer counts each day by the hour. We measure the average transaction. We do surveys, but any store can do that. So that's direct measure. We can basically track our good customers, and if we really wanted to find out what they spent this month, what they spent last month, do we do that? Yeah, it prints off the computer every day. Do you want to focus on that? No, it's just it's a matrix to go by if you're doing a schedule or something to make sure you have the correct manpower. Between the hours of 10 and 2, we spike. So you use some of that to react and better still not react, but be proactive, so based on years of experience where you need to be, etc. But more so than anything, I think, again, is what some folks have mentioned is your staff, if they're well trained, it's them that react, it's them that takes care of the problem. It doesn't have to go to a manager, it doesn't have to go to an owner. They're the ones that deal with these things on a day-to-day basis. And if they're well trained, the best measure, I think, of how well we're doing is body language. People know by looking at other people whether they're happy or not. If you're good at what you're doing, you know that you're doing a good job, and you know that the customers are going to be repeat customers. So we do a lot of repeat business. Home hardware in itself, not just from Northumberland, we're growing, yes, but Home Hardware is not a publicly traded company, but I can tell you that Home Hardware is doing something right in and to itself, and that's because they started out with the whole customer service thing is just been in the fabric of where they came from. So I'm very fortunate to have landed there. Large contractors don't just, contractors, developers, your biggest customers, they don't just jump ship from another banner. There's other restaurants out there, there's other shoe stores out there. People don't just come to you because you do a radio ad. You have to mean what you say. You have to prove that you can back what you're talking about, and even then, people are coming just because for the sake of change, because they heard a good radio ad. You have to be there and be there and be there and continuously pound that message, and you have to perform and you have to back it and be able to back it. And I think the people in this panel can attest to that. It's not one thing. It's a lifestyle. It's making sure that everybody that you have the fortune of working with gets it.
Definitely a theme there. Thank you very much, Brett. We do have to keep this on schedule, so we do have time for one last question that we will ask everybody if we can keep it a little brief. You don't have to be very brief, just a little brief. In answering our final question before we go to break, is there any advice, any one piece of advice you can give other businesses on implementing a great customer service strategy? Gina, again, we'll start with you.
I'm going to keep it brief, but I'm going to steal also from my past hat that I used to wear, and the bottom line is quality creates customer enthusiasm. So quality product, quality staff, that customer comes in different than online, different than big box stores. You and your staff can make that customer keep coming back. And the quality of your products. And the saying that your customer is always right. Well, we like to make them feel right, but sometimes we have to educate them that maybe some of those Walmart shoes are going to end up lasting 3 years like a pair from Italy, and hence why the cost is different, etc. But quality creates customer enthusiasm.
Thank you very much, Tina. Marianne and John, one piece of advice?
We have two. I'm going to really brief.
Okay.
Mine is to deliver on your promises.
Probably a lot of companies have a motto, and our original owner, who is unfortunately not with us anymore, he would say that you can't go wrong doing a thing right. And I think if you do the right thing, then you will succeed.
What?
In grade 6 at Dr. Howard Jordan School on Percival Street, Willis Dowling was the principal of the school. I got hauled into the office and was made to write about 250 times, I will do unto others as I would have them do unto me. I can't even remember why I was hauled into the office. And you know what? It's a great slogan to use and live by in your business. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you when you enter their business. We're all retailers, or we're all consumers, and many of us are retailers. When I walk into a store, I expect a certain level of service, and when I don't get that, I get upset. Sometimes I vow I'll never go back. I don't want any of my customers to feel that way. I want them to feel that they can come to me if there is a problem. I want them to know that it will be resolved, and I want them to keep coming to me because I love serving the people of Port Oakland. Thank you.
Blake, thank you very much. Julia, is there any piece of advice you can give other businesses on implementing great customer service?
I'd like to read a poem. My one piece of advice is smile. That's so important. A smile goes a long way. Somebody could come in grumpy, and smiling at them would just put them in a better mood. Doesn't matter what product you have at the time. It's incredible to establish that initial rapport. But I have a poem I'm going to read really fast. May I do that? It's I found it in the Gould's files when I first took over the business in '88. And it was dated in 1971 or 78. So it was much as like social media, all these gadgets are so fast forward in time. It's great. This is an old basic poem that tells the truth. If I possessed a shop or store, I'd drive the grouches off the floor. I'd never let some gloomy guy offend the folks who came to buy. I'd never keep a boy or clerk with mental toothache at his work, nor let a man who draws my pay drive customers of mine away. I treat the man who takes my time and spend a nickel or a dime with courtesy and make him feel that I was pleased to close the deal. Because tomorrow, who can tell? He may want stuff I have to sell. And in that case, then glad he'll be to spend his dollars all with me. The real reason people pass one door to patronize another store is not because the busier place has better silks or gloves or lace or better prices, but it lies in pleasant words and smiling eyes. The only difference, I believe, is in the treatment folks receive.
Julia, thank you. Is there any advice that you would give other businesses on implementing a great customer service strategy?
Well, you know what they always say, the best advice is no advice. But this sounds a little silly, but it's the truth, and it happens in our restaurant every now and again when staff are busy doing things and customers are walking down there going, oh my God, the customers are coming in and I don't have the vacuuming done. And I always say, well, if it wasn't for those pesky customers, this would be a great business. So understanding that without customers, you don't have a business needs to be foremost in your psyche day after day after day after day. And And customers need a reason to be at your place and not at the competitors. You have to tell them your story. You have to show them that you really do care about them. And they will give back. They aren't in a restaurant. People don't come into a restaurant to window shop. They are actually coming into a restaurant to spend money. And you have to do everything you can to make them feel good about that choice. My advice to people is to keep interested, stay healthy, creative, and on top of current trends, and most of all, have fun.
Thank you, Don. Barry.
Well, I got to thinking primarily about our security system business, and the pressure is always there in a business like ours to sell clients, our client base, to one of the larger companies, the multinationals and so on. And we're always being approached about this and so on. We've resisted it over the years because our feeling is that they are totally focused on making money and profit as opposed to being focused on the client. And we find that at odds with their philosophy, at odds with ours. Small town, treat the customer right, and so on. Blake referred to it, and it sounds trivial and maybe very basic, and I'm sorry if it does. But just simply following the biblical golden rule. That example, put your client's needs first and treat them the way that you would want to be treated. People like to tell their story. Listen to them. Ask questions. Get to know them. Develop a rapport that way. And just listen to their story. Business is all about relationships. And you need to go out of your way just to listen to them, and then to, if you're in a business like ours, customize your product to them rather than finding some cookie-cutter kind of solution to what they need. And do something special for them in this way, and then they're going to be your client for life.
Barry, thank you. Brett.
You know, our focus has been basically to take customer service to the next level. And again, it's easy to say that, but when I used to work for another box store, and not that they haven't changed and evolved, but I was there almost 20 years ago, and first thing as the general manager of the store, was a binder. It was this big, and it was the customer service manual, policy manual. And my true belief is the best policy is take that manual and throw it in the garbage. It's not a manual, it's a relationship. It's looking somebody in the eye and letting them know that you live and breathe, and you need to let that person know that it's important to you, that they really feel that you're going to take care of them. To be a good listener, to analyze and then execute, to be passionate and confident, and treat every single visit as an opportunity to wow that customer, to go above and beyond, to know that when that guy's walking to his car, he's wondering why the hell that guy why did that employee care so much? That's kind of, and it's, to be mediocre sucks. It's not okay. You're not going anywhere if you're mediocre, because there's lots of people that are going to eat your meat. And, to shop locally, people, I preach shopping locally all the time, mainly because I'm a business owner in a small community, and my father was a business owner in a small community, and that's kind of the way I grew up, but it makes a damn difference. And it is a relationship. I have alarm systems all by alliance, which Barry has. I eat in Don's restaurant. I'm pretty sure my wife's name is very highly regarded at the Google's foot store. I'm not ready for the retirement home, but at the end of the day, it all matters. So invest, not just dollars, but time with your staff. Invest in your local community, and show that you give a damn.
Thank you very much, Brad. And thank you to all of our panelists. Excellent answers. It's very obvious you all care very deeply about your businesses and your customers. I'm sure that it sparks some questions, maybe from you. Certainly take the opportunity during the break to ask your questions of any one of our panelists or especially afterwards, once Mr. Cooper is done with his talk, which you will find incredibly inspiring. We have a reception that's coming up afterwards. You can certainly approach any of our panelists at that reception. Please help me thank Gina Boyd, Mary Cunningham, John Goyen, Blake Bolton, Julia Mark, Don Mark,